I think it's very interesting to consider the ramifications as investors right now. Sometimes I like to just boil it down to like, what does this mean for people and what should they do? I continue to think what this means is that these conditions might persist for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm concerned that we have such a shortage in supply, and we still have regulators continuing to look to tighten up regulations even further in so many areas that just create more economic headwinds.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like out of policy tools at the Federal Reserve level. So we have to raise rates because inflation's out of control. The government is in some ways manipulating the supply side of the market in so many ways by adding more regulations that you can see what it's doing. It squeezes what it really does is it squeezes the lower half of the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just don't have the discretionary margin in your life, it all goes into your cost of living. And then what's left with, this is the time bomb that really concerns me, is look at the amount of consumer debt and how that's spiking. Like, look at credit card debt, student loans. I mean, we're reaching all-time highs here. And we did see this push where wages went up, but they're really flattening right now. Like, as unemployment started to go up, right? And what does that mean? If unemployment goes up, it means that employers they have more people to choose from. So there's less wage pressure.
And we've seen a lot of that recently. We've seen a lot of wage inflation because we've had a shortage of workers.
Right.
Inflation numbers have been really low.
Mm-hmm.
There haven't been a lot of workers to pick from.
Yeah.
But we could see that change.
We could.
We have seen a lot of layoffs from some of the bigger tech companies. Now, that's not to say we've seen it from all the companies across the board, but we've seen that start to change a little bit.
We've seen really interesting stuff.
We saw Macy's in San Francisco close their store. I saw Target today shut down 9 stores because of retail theft.
Retail theft.
I mean, we are seeing things change, I think, in the likes that we haven't seen before. Can you recall a time in history where we've seen retail theft and theft across the board at the rates that we're seeing it today?
No, I can't. And this one, it's really tough because
it makes it tough as an investor too.
It's a financial program, but make no mistake, policy impacts this stuff. And this is an example where policy has a direct impact on an investor, right? If you have a policy of not prosecuting theft below a threshold in California in particular, what you're saying is, go ahead and do it because nothing's going to happen. And we did this in Oregon when we said we're going to decriminalize drugs. And then what we saw is, well, we have a decrease in drug crime because it no longer counts as crime, but we have an increase in
homelessness.
Well, and other issues like drug deaths. Right. So like you start to have overdoses become more of a problem and so forth. And you go, well, that nobody should be shocked by that. Well, there was research that said this, that, and the other. Look,
and then you got the person
research to tell you whatever you want. I mean, remember, there's 3 kinds of lies in this world, right? There's lies, there's damn lies, and then there's statistics, right? And so I tell you the story that you want to hear.
And then there's that person squawking for more regulation, which we just talked about that earlier on the show.
It doesn't. The thing is, when somebody screams, somebody do something, somebody fix this. Like, what we need to do is increase the minimum wage. And then I go, right. So what you just did is unintentionally fan the flames. Like, I don't question that your motives are very good. These people need living wage jobs. That's true, but you can never make a job living wage.
You can't make an entry-level job living wage, right? An unskilled position. Let's say an unskilled position.
You can't make a job that's not, when I say you can never make a job a living wage, the job meaning, like, you can't, the job has to be valued at a living wage. You can't just declare a value to the job and say,
everyone gets optimized living
we always
standards.
Pick on like flipping burgers. And the reason we do that is because it's low skill and entry level, right? And now because we can prove that robots can do it. Right. So you look at this and go, oh, okay, well, this entry-level job, if you don't show up, I can get somebody else right behind you to do it. It takes no particular skill other than show up and basically do what you're told and follow the hygiene rules, right? So if you can do that minimum level of competency, you can do this job. And it's like an 8-year-old could do this job, right? You don't need to. And so, I'm 30-year-old with, a couple of kids. Like, it doesn't make the job more valuable because your life circumstance is harder.
Preach it.
You need to have more valuable skills so that you can have a job that pays a living wage, not tell the job to pay more. Right. All that does is filter into the system like any other regulation and make it cost more.
Then the person that owns the business has to charge more to pay you the adjusted wage.
Yeah. And so
inflation.